The Black Widow with Triplets stood on the auction block, her husband's gambling debts about to cost her everything, when a Comanche warrior stepped from the crowd and changed her fate forever. Sarah May clutched her children against the Texas heat. Hope pressed into her left side. Faith and charity flanked her right. The auctioneer's voice cut through air thick as molasses. "Fine specimens here, folks. Woman strong. Children are young enough to train proper." The crowd murmured approval. Sarah May's fingers found Hope's hand. 6 years old and already learning the world's cruelties. The twins barely understood why strangers stared at them like livestock. Clayton Marsh stood near the platform's edge. His white hat caught sunlight. His smile promised nothing good. He'd orchestrated this moment from the day Thomas died in that convenient hunting accident. "Do I hear opening bids?" Sarah May scanned faces in the crowd. No allies, no escape routes, just hungry eyes and calculated assessments of her worth. $50 for the lot." Clayton's voice carried easy confidence. Other bidders shifted uncomfortably. Nobody crossed Clayton Marsh in this county. His money bought more than land and livestock. It bought silence. The auctioneer raised his gavel. $50, do I hear 60? Silence stretched like a held breath. Going once. Sarah May's heart hammered against her ribs. Charity whimpered. Faith buried her face in worn fabric. Going twice. A shadow moved through the crowd. Tall figure in buckskin and worn cotton. Dark hair caught back with leather cord. Face carved from weathered stone. The Comanche warrior stepped forward. Every voice died. Even the auctioneer froze mid-gesture. The stranger's presence changed the air itself. He moved with predator grace through suddenly parted bodies. He reached into a leather pouch, drew out something that made Clayton's face twist with recognition and rage. A ceremonial knife. Sacred silver work on buffalo bone handle. Intricate patterns that spoke of ancestral honor. "This covers their price." The warrior's voice carried quiet authority. He placed the knife on the platform's edge. Sunlight caught the blade's surface. Clayton's hand dropped to his gun belt. His face had gone pale beneath his hat brim. "That's mine by rights. Nothing here belongs to you." The crowd stirred uneasily. They sensed currents deeper than a simple auction dispute. Old blood and older grievances. Sarah May stared at her unexpected savior. His dark eyes met hers briefly. Something passed between them. Not understanding, not trust, just acknowledgement of shared desperation. The auctioneer looked between Clayton and the warrior. His authority seemed suddenly fragile. "I don't know about this irregularity." Clayton stepped closer to the platform. His hand rested on his gun grip. "That knife was stolen from my family. This savage has no business here." The warrior never moved his gaze from Clayton's face. "Your father gave it to me before he died. I tried to save him in the blizzard 3 winters past." Clayton's eyes widened, then narrowed to slits. "You're lying." He spoke of his son, said he hoped you'd find peace instead of anger. The crowd pressed closer. Drama drew them like blood drew flies. Sarah May felt the shift in attention, opportunity opening like a crack in stone. The warrior extended his hand toward her. "Come down." Sarah May hesitated. Trading one captor for another solved nothing, but charity reached toward the stranger's outstretched fingers. Children sensed things adults missed. "Now hold on there." Clayton drew his weapon halfway. The crowd scattered backward. The auctioneer dove behind his podium. The warrior's hand never moved toward his own gun. He simply stared at Clayton with stone patience. "You want to start shooting with children present?" Clayton's jaw worked silently. His reputation depended on appearing reasonable, civilized, a pillar of the community. Sarah May made her choice. She gathered her children and stepped down from the platform. Hope clutched her skirt. The twins pressed close against her legs. The warrior turned without another word. He walked through the crowd toward the edge of town. Sarah May followed because standing still meant death. Clayton's voice cracked like a whip behind them. "This isn't finished. Not by half. The warrior never looked back. Sarah May felt eyes boring into her spine. The crowd parted reluctantly. Whispers followed their wake like dust clouds. 4 horses waited at the town's edge. The warrior had planned this intervention. Sarah May lifted Charity onto the smallest mount. Hope climbed up behind her sister. Faith rode with Sarah May. The warrior swung onto his horse with fluid grace. He looked back at the town once, then turned toward open country. They rode hard. For the first hour, put distance between themselves and Clayton's inevitable pursuit. The children clung silently to leather and horn. They'd learned to endure without complaint. When they finally slowed, Sarah May found her voice. Why? The warrior studied the horizon behind them. Dust clouds meant riders. Clayton wouldn't wait long. Your husband asked me to watch over you. Sarah May's breath caught. You knew Thomas? The warrior reached into his shirt, drew out a folded paper sealed with wax. He gave me this. Said if anything happened, you'd need help getting to Colorado. Sarah May stared at Thomas's familiar handwriting on the paper's surface. Her dead husband's final gift, a lifeline thrown across the grave. The dust clouds grew larger, more distinct. We need to move, the warrior said. Sarah May tucked the letter into her dress without reading it. Questions could wait. Survival demanded action. They rode toward the setting sun. Behind them, Clayton, Marsh gathered his men and his hatred. Ahead lay 200 miles of hostile territory. But for the first time since Thomas died, Sarah May felt something besides despair. Hope had taken a different form than she'd expected. They made camp in broken country where wind carved secrets from stone. Sarah May spread her threadbare blanket, while the warrior tended horses with practiced efficiency. The children huddled together like small birds seeking warmth. Sarah May watched him move. Every gesture deliberate. No wasted motion. She'd expected wildness, violence. The stories white folks told painted pictures of savagery and bloodlust. This man carved wooden horses for her daughters. Hope accepted the first carving with suspicious fingers. Faith grabbed hers immediately. Charity clapped tiny hands in delight. Sarah May felt something cold inside her chest begin to thaw. What's your name? The warrior looked up from his whittling. Firelight caught the planes of his face. Ayana. That means something? Eternal, blossom. Hope giggled despite herself. The sound broke tension like morning sun through clouds. Sarah May studied Thomas's letter by flickering light. Her husband's careful script revealed truths that made her hands shake. Clayton had threatened him twice. Demanded he sell the land for half its worth. Thomas had refused. Then came the hunting. Accident. He knew, she whispered. Ayana fed dried wood to hungry flames. Sparks rose toward stars like prayers seeking heaven. Thomas was good man. Foolish sometimes, but good. You worked together? Buffalo hunting. He talked about his wife, his children. Said you made him want to be better than he was. Sarah May folded the letter carefully. Thomas had discovered something on their land, something valuable enough to kill for. The letter mentioned a claim deed hidden with his sister in Colorado. Why help us? Your people and mine don't exactly share. Sunday dinners. Ayana's hands stilled on the wood. Long silence stretched between them. My people cast me out. Your people see me as less than human. Maybe outcasts should stand together. The honesty cut deep. Sarah May recognized the wound behind his words. She'd carried similar scars since childhood. Morning brought hard riding across country that stretched empty as broken promises. The children adapted with resilience that broke Sarah May's heart. Too young to carry such burdens. Too strong to surrender. They reached Miller's trading post near midday, a weathered building squatting beside a creek that had seen better years. Sarah May's stomach cramped with hunger. The children needed food. The proprietor looked up from his ledger. His face shifted from professional welcome to cold suspicion. His eyes moved from Sarah May to Ayana to the children. We don't serve your kind here. Sarah May felt familiar rage rise in her throat. The same words, different voices, always the same poison. My children need food. Find it somewhere else. Ayanna stepped forward. The proprietor's hand dropped toward a shotgun behind the counter. Easy now, don't want trouble. Then sell us supplies. Can't do that. Sarah May watched the standoff develop. Two men locked in stubborn pride while her children's bellies ached with emptiness. She moved to the far end of the store, began examining goods with obvious interest, drew the proprietor's attention. That's fine fabric there. The man's greed warred with his prejudice. Sarah May fingered coins in her pocket. Money had its own color. While she kept him talking, Ayanna gathered necessities. Salt pork, hardtack, coffee beans. He moved like smoke through shadows. Sarah May paid for fabric she didn't need while Ayanna loaded supplies into saddlebags. They worked together without words, understanding born of shared necessity. Outside, they divided the goods. Sarah May felt something shift between them. Partnership, replacing suspicion. That was nicely done. Ayanna checked the horse's hooves. Professional assessment hiding deeper thoughts. You're not what I expected either. They rode until sunset painted the sky in shades of loss. Made camp beside water that tasted of minerals and distance. The children played quietly while adults maintained careful watch. After dark, when small voices had faded into sleep, Sarah May and Ayanna sat by dying coals. Coyotes sang lonesome songs to indifferent stars. Tell me about Thomas's accident. Ayanna poked the fire with a blackened stick. Sparks danced and died. Found him at the bottom of Cedar Canyon. Horse was spooked, broke its leg in the fall. You were there? Got there after. Tracks told the story. Sarah May waited. Silence had weight between them. Wrong tracks. Horse didn't spook natural. Something drove it over the edge. The words hung like smoke in still air. Sarah May felt pieces clicking together in her mind. Thomas's fears, Clayton's threats, the convenient timing. Murder. Can't prove it. Clayton's got the sheriff bought and paid for. A sound made them both freeze. Hoofbeats in the distance. Single rider moving fast through darkness. Ayanna rose smoothly. His hand found his rifle without thought. The rider appeared at the edge of firelight. Comanche warrior on painted horse. Feathers and war paint caught dancing light. Words passed between the men in liquid syllables Sarah May couldn't understand. The visitor's voice carried authority. Command. Ayanna's response sounded like refusal. The visiting warrior's eyes found Sarah May. Found her children sleeping beside the fire. His expression shifted to something like disgust. More words. Heated now. The visitor gestured toward the sleeping forms, toward Sarah May herself. Ayanna stepped between them. His stance spoke defiance louder than shouted words. The visitor wheeled his horse, called out something that sounded like warning or threat, then melted back into darkness. Sarah May waited for explanation. Ayanna fed the fire instead. Friend of yours? Was? What did he want? Ayanna studied her face in the flickering light, measuring her strength, her courage. My tribe sent him. They want me to return. Face judgment for betraying our ways. By helping us? By choosing your family over tribal law. The words carried weight neither of them expected. Your family. As if they'd already become something more than strangers bound by circumstance. Sarah May looked at her sleeping children, at this man who'd carved them toys and stood between them, and danger. What did you tell him? That I made my choice. Wind stirred the coals, scattered sparks toward heaven. Somewhere in the darkness, Clayton's men were coming. Behind them, Ayanna's former brothers carried their own brand of justice. Sarah May reached for Thomas's letter. Read it again by firelight. Her husband's final gift wasn't just information about silver claims. It was the gift of this man's protection, this unexpected alliance forged in desperation and tempered by growing trust. We're going to make it to Colorado. Ayanna nodded once. Simple acknowledgement of shared determination. Around them, the night held dangers they couldn't see. But beside the dying fire, something stronger than fear was taking root. Hope wearing a different face than Sarah May had ever imagined. The pursuit found them 3 days out from Willow Creek. Dust clouds on the horizon spoke of horses and hard men. Clayton had gathered more than just bounty hunters. Sarah May counted the distant riders through Ayanna's spyglass. 8 men, maybe more. He's got Comanche with him. Ayanna took the glass back, studied the approaching force with professional calm. Different band. Enemies of my people. Clayton promised them guns. The children sensed danger without understanding its shape. Hope moved closer to her mother. The twins played quietly with their wooden horses. Even their whispers had grown, smaller. They pushed hard toward broken country where rocks offered shelter. The horses labored under the pace. Charity rode in front of Sarah May now. The little girl's weight pressed against her mother's chest like a living prayer. There's a homestead ahead, Ayanna said. German family, good people. Sarah May heard the doubt in his voice. Desperation made allies of strangers. It also made them betrayers. The Muller farm sat in a valley like a child's toy. Neat fields, painted barn, smoke rising from a chimney that promised warmth and food. Klaus Muller emerged from his house as they approached. A thick man with kind eyes and work-hardened hands. His wife Anna appeared behind him. Their 3 children peered from behind her skirts. Bitte, we need help, Sarah May said. Anna Muller's face softened at the sight of the children. She spoke rapid German to her husband. Klaus nodded reluctantly. You bring trouble here. Just for tonight, we'll pay. Klaus looked at the dust clouds growing larger on the horizon, at Sarah May's exhausted children, at Ayanna sitting quiet and watchful on his horse. Come, quickly. They stabled the horses. In the barn, Anna fed the children soup and fresh bread. The twins fell asleep at the kitchen table. Hope struggled to keep her eyes open. Sarah May helped Anna clear dishes while Klaus spoke low with Ayanna near the window. The men studied the approaching riders through glass grown dusty with wind and time. They will be here soon, Klaus said. Ayanna checked his rifle. How many people know about this place? Traders, travelers. We turn no one away who needs help. Sarah May heard the regret in Klaus's voice. Kindness was a luxury frontier families couldn't always afford. Anna put the children to bed in the loft. Charity clutched her wooden horse. Faith whispered prayers their mother had taught them. Hope kept one eye open until Sarah May kissed her forehead. Sleep now, baby girl. Are we safe here, Mama? Sarah May smoothed her daughter's hair. Safe as we can be. The riders arrived with full darkness. Torches threw dancing shadows across the farmyard. Clayton's voice carried clearly through the night air. Klaus Muller, we know you're harboring fugitives. Klaus stepped onto his porch. Anna remained in the doorway with a shotgun held loose in her hands. I harbor no one. This is my home. Mind if we search the premises? You have no authority here. Clayton's laugh held no warmth. Authority comes from strength, friend. We've got plenty of both. Sarah May crouched in the root cellar beneath the kitchen, Ayanna beside her. Their breathing seemed loud as thunder in the confined space. Above them, boots crossed wooden floors. Voices demanded answers. Anna's children whimpered in their parents' arms. Where are they, Klaus? I told you, no one here but family. A crash, furniture overturning. Anna's sharp cry of protest. Check the barn, check the fields, they're here somewhere. Sarah May felt Ayanna tense beside her. His hand gripped his rifle until knuckles showed white. Don't, she whispered. The children. More crashes. Systematic destruction born of frustration. Clayton's men found nothing because Klaus had hidden them well. But someone had seen them arrive. Found fresh tracks leading to the cellar. Sarah May's heart stopped. Ayanna rose slowly. His eyes found hers in the darkness. Stay here with the children. They're not up there. I know. The cellar door opened. Torchlight spilled down wooden steps. Clayton's face appeared in the opening like a vision from hell. Well, well, the happy family. Sarah May climbed the steps first. Ayanna followed with his hands visible, empty. The children remained hidden in the cellar's deepest corner. Klaus and Anna stood in their ruined kitchen. Blood trickled from Klaus's split lip. Anna's dress was torn. Their children cried silently behind overturned chairs. Apologize for the mess, Clayton said. Sometimes hospitality requires correction. Sarah May met his eyes without flinching. You got what you came for. Not quite. Clayton gestured to his men. Bring the children up. They're not part of this. They're collateral for your husband's debts, legal property until those debts are settled. Ayanna stepped forward. 2 rifles swung toward his chest. Easy, savage. Your turn's coming. Hope appeared at the top of the cellar stairs, her small face set in lines too mature for 6 years. Faith and Charity followed. The twins held hands. Sarah May's heart broke seeing her children's courage. They'd learned to face terror with dignity. Now then, Clayton said, let's discuss terms. The farmhouse felt smaller with so many armed men inside. Klaus and Anna pressed against one wall. Their children huddled nearby. The Mueller family had become unwilling witnesses to frontier justice. You've caused me considerable expense, Clayton continued. Time, men, resources, that debt's grown substantially. Sarah May said nothing. Words were weapons Clayton wielded better than she did. Here's my offer. Final offer. You come with me. Work off the debt. Your children get apprenticed to good families. Learn useful trades. Slavery. Employment. Legal employment. Ayanna spoke for the first time since emerging from the cellar. What about me? Clayton's smile turned predatory. You killed my father, stole his sacred knife. Justice demands satisfaction. Your father died of pneumonia. I tried to save him. Your word against mine. Guess which one a jury believes. The room fell silent except for wind rattling windows. Outside, horses stamped and snorted. Men checked weapons and adjusted saddles. Clayton had orchestrated this moment perfectly, isolated them, surrounded them, offered terms that sounded reasonable to anyone who didn't understand the truth beneath. Sarah May looked at her children, at Klaus and Anna who'd shown kindness and paid for it, at Ayanna who'd given up everything to protect strangers. I want trial by combat. Clayton blinked. What? Old law. Texas recognizes it. Single combat. Winner takes all. That's ridiculous. You afraid your champion can't handle one savage? Clayton's eyes narrowed. Sarah May had struck his pride deliberately, publicly. His men were watching. Waiting. Fine. Dawn. You're savage against my best man. When he loses, you accept my terms without argument. And if he wins? Won't happen. But if he does, we go free. All debts forgiven. Clayton looked at Ayanna, saw a man alone against impossible odds, saw easy victory. Agreed. Outside, wind howled across empty plains. Inside, a family faced their final gamble. Sarah May had bet everything on a warrior who'd already lost his tribe for protecting them. Hope flickered like candle flame in gathering darkness. Dawn broke like spilled blood across the Texas sky. Sarah May watched Ayanna prepare for combat with hands that refused to stop trembling. He moved with ritual precision, checking weapons, testing balance, making peace with possibility. The children huddled close to Anna Mueller. Hope's eyes never left her mother's face. Faith clutched her wooden horse. Charity sucked her thumb in silence. Clayton's champion emerged from the group of hired guns. Jake Morrison, a man who killed for wages and slept well afterward. Scars mapped his face like roads to nowhere. His hands hung loose and ready. Your savage looks smaller than I expected, Clayton said. Sarah May ignored him. Her attention focused on papers hidden in Thomas's letter, evidence that could change everything if she found the right moment. The combat circle formed in the farmyard. Men with guns created boundaries. Klaus and Anna stood with their children near the porch, witnesses to frontier justice. Morrison drew his gun and checked the cylinder. 6 bullets. Ayanna carried a knife and tomahawk. The distance between them stretched like eternity. "Rules are simple," Clayton announced. "Last man standing wins. No quarter asked or given." Sarah May felt her world narrow to this moment. Everything balanced on Ayanna's skill and her own desperate gamble. The signal came without ceremony. Morrison drew fast as striking snake. His bullet sparked off stone where Ayanna had stood a heartbeat before. The warrior moved like wind across water. Never where expected. Never still long enough for aim to find him. Morrison's second shot went wide. His third, the man's confidence, began to crack like old leather. Sarah May slipped Thomas's papers from her dress, advanced toward the watching crowd while all eyes followed the deadly dance. Ayanna closed distance with patient hunter's skill. Morrison backed toward the barn. His fourth shot missed by inches. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the morning chill. "Judge Patterson," Sarah May called to the circuit judge Clayton had summoned to witness the combat. "I have evidence of murder." Clayton spun toward her. "Shut your mouth, woman. Thomas Williams was murdered for this." She held up the papers. "Proof of silver deposits on our land. Proof Clayton threatened my husband. Proof he arranged the accident." The judge extended his hand for the documents. Clayton moved to intercept. Morrison fired his 5th shot in panic. The bullet caught Ayanna's shoulder, spun him sideways. Blood painted his shirt dark. Hope screamed. Faith began to cry. Charity buried her face in Anna's skirts. Ayanna rolled, behind water trough. Morrison advanced for the killing shot, his final bullet. Sarah May thrust the papers into Judge Patterson's hands. "Read it. All of it." Clayton grabbed for the documents. The judge stepped back. His eyes scanned Thomas's. Careful writing. Bank records. Assay reports. Copies of threatening letters. Morrison rounded the water trough. Found empty space. Ayanna had vanished like morning mist. The tomahawk took Morrison in the chest. Not deep enough to kill. Deep enough to drop him. His gun fell in the dust. Ayanna knelt beside his fallen opponent. Pressed the knife against Morrison's throat. One quick motion would end it. He looked at Sarah May instead, at her children watching with wide eyes. "Yield," Ayanna said. Morrison nodded frantically. Blood frothed on his lips. "I yield. Combat's done." Judge Patterson looked up from the papers. His face had gone pale in the growing light. "Clayton Marsh, you're under arrest for murder, fraud, and conspiracy." Clayton's hand dropped to his gun. "Like hell I am. These documents prove everything. Bank fraud, land theft, first-degree murder." The hired guns looked at each other uncertainly. They'd been paid to capture fugitives, not fight federal marshals. "Stand down, all of you," the judge commanded. "This matter is concluded." Sarah May ran to Ayanna. He sat in the dust holding his wounded shoulder. Blood seeped between his fingers. "How bad?" "I'll live." Hope reached them first. Her small hands touched Ayanna's face with careful gentleness. "You won. We won." Sarah May helped him stand. Around them, Clayton's men were surrendering weapons. Their leader stood in shackles that reflected morning sun like captured stars. Judge Patterson approached with papers in hand. "Mrs. Williams, your husband's debts are voided. Criminal. Activity nullifies all contracts. Your land is yours free and clear." Sarah May looked at the silver claim documentation. Enough wealth to buy comfort for generations. Enough to build the life Thomas had dreamed. "I don't want it." The judge blinked. "Ma'am, the silver, the land. Sell it all. Put the money in trust for my children's education." She helped Ayanna toward the house. Anna had prepared bandages and hot water. His wound needed tending. "What will you do?" Klaus asked. Sarah May looked at her children, at Ayanna bleeding for their freedom, at the wide country stretching toward Colorado and new beginnings. "We're going to build something, somewhere safe, for people like us." 6 months later, the ranch sat in Colorado, territory like answered prayer, small house, good well, fields that would feed families seeking fresh starts. Sarah May worked beside Ayanna in the garden. His shoulder had healed clean. Their partnership had deepened into something neither spoke aloud, but both understood. Hope taught reading to children from 3 different tribes. Faith helped Anna Muller with cooking for the growing community. Charity played with babies who'd never known slavery or exile. A rider approached across the plains. Sarah May shaded her eyes against afternoon sun. "More folks needing sanctuary," Ayanna said. Sarah May nodded. They'd built something worth protecting. A place where color mattered less than character, where outcasts became family. The rider carried a woman and small child. Both looked worn by travel and fear. Both looked like hope dressed in desperation. Sarah May walked out to meet them. Behind her, Ayanna followed. Around them, their chosen family continued the daily work of turning wilderness into home. The woman slid from her horse, clutched her child with protective fierceness Sarah May recognized. "We heard there's a place here, for people like us." Sarah May smiled, extended her hand in welcome. "There is. Come inside. You're safe now." The sun set over their small kingdom of second chances. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new people seeking shelter, new opportunities to prove that families were built by choice, not blood. Tonight there was supper to share, stories to tell, children to tuck into beds made safe by courage and community. Sarah May and Ayanna sat on the porch after dark. Stars wheeled overhead like scattered prayers. Somewhere in the distance, coyotes sang their ancient songs. "Think we made the right choice?" Sarah May asked. Ayanna's hand found hers in the darkness, calloused fingers intertwined with gentle strength. "We made the only choice." Around them, their chosen family slept in peace. The black widow who'd stood on an auction block had become a mother to dozens. The exiled warrior had found his tribe among the lost and broken. Together they'd built something beautiful from the ashes of their former lives, something worth fighting for, something worth keeping, something like home. And that is all to the story for now. Please let me know where you are tuning in from. Perhaps we will create a story there. Consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel, and if you enjoy our content, click this video on your screen. I promise you it's worth watching. See you tomorrow.